Imagine fighting for 50 years. 50 years for your freedom. And then you actually win. The whole world is celebrating with you as you raise the flag of your brand new country. Well, this was the reality for South Sudan back in 2011. But what happens when the celebrations die down? That's where this incredible story of liberation takes a really tragic and complicated turn.
And yeah, that's the big question we're going to dig into. What really happens when the fighting stops, your common enemy is gone, and you're left with the massive job of building a nation totally from scratch? The story of South Sudan, well, it holds a powerful and frankly a pretty cautionary answer. So to really get what happened in South Sudan, we've got to rewind a bit. We have to go back to the country it broke away from, Sudan. Because before 2011, on the map, it was one huge nation. But in reality, it was never, ever truly one people. You see, these deep divisions basically became official after Sudan got its independence back in 1956. All the power was concentrated in the north, and they immediately declared the nation an Arab Muslim state. Now, that completely ignored the millions of people in the south who were mostly African and practiced Christianity or traditional beliefs. Right from day one, they were pushed to the sidelines, both politically and culturally.
This kind of fundamental clash, it pretty much instantly sparked a civil war. Conflict just became the normal state of things. The first civil war raged for 16 years. After a short, really tense peace, a second, even more brutal war broke out, and that one lasted for over 2 decades. We're talking about almost 50 years where the South was fighting just for recognition, just for a chance at freedom.
But then, in 2005, a breakthrough, a really big one. A comprehensive peace agreement was finally hammered out and signed, and it paved the way for the ultimate goal, a vote on independence. And wow, when that vote finally happened in 2011, the result was just overwhelming. It was a landslide. The people of the South voted decisively to form their very own country. And so, in July of that year, the Republic of South Sudan was officially born. The joy was incredible. There was so much optimism from all around the globe. The long, bloody fight was finally over. Or at least, that's what it seemed like.
So why? Why did this peace that was fought for so hard just crumble so quickly? The answer really lies in what this new nation was actually made of. It was a country that was forged in conflict, and those scars ran incredibly deep.
It was basically a perfect storm of problems. I mean, sure, the fight against the North had united a lot of different ethnic groups in the South, but that didn't just erase their own long-standing rivalries. Plus, the whole society was militarized. Infrastructure was almost non-existent, but there were guns everywhere. And finally, the country had huge oil reserves. Now, you'd think that would be a blessing, but it quickly became a curse, as different groups started fighting for control of all that money.
This whole volatile mix just needed a spark to explode. And that spark came from the very, very top of the new government. A power struggle between the country's 2 most powerful men.
Okay, so on one side, you've got President Salva Kiir, who is a member of the Dinka, the largest ethnic group. On the other side is Vice President Riek Machar, from the Nuer, the second largest group. So in 2013, Kiir, fearing a challenge to his power, fired his entire cabinet, including Machar. In return, Machar accused him of acting like a dictator. And just like that, their personal rivalry lit the fuse on all the country's underlying ethnic tensions.
After being fired, Riek Machar didn't just go home. He took a part of the military with him and launched a rebellion. That political disagreement exploded into a devastating new civil war. But this wasn't North versus South anymore. This was Dinka versus Nuer, and it was fought with absolutely horrific brutality on both sides.
And that right there is the ultimate tragedy of it all. After decades fighting for the right to even exist, South Sudan turned its weapons inward. The dream of freedom, the one that was celebrated with so much hope in 2011, had turned into a total nightmare of internal conflict, creating one of the worst humanitarian crises on the entire planet.
Which brings us right back to our central question, but now it lands with a much heavier weight, you know? The story of South Sudan is this stark reminder that winning a war for independence is one thing, but building a nation of peace is a completely different challenge. And it forces us all to ask a really difficult and vital question. How does a nation build peace when its only history is war?